You ever have one of those nights where you're not sure if you're about to get robbed, arrested, or just become the punchline of the weirdest story in your neighborhood group chat? Yeah, that was me, 3 a.m., dead asleep, when suddenly my cabin door exploded off its hinges and three guys in fake uniforms barged in yelling about environmental violations. You know what I mean? The kind of chaos that makes you question every life choice up to that moment. But here's the kicker. They thought they were about to steamroll a struggling single dad, make an example out of me. What they didn't count on was the fact my teenage son was still awake upstairs, and what happened next flipped the whole script on its head. You'd think after those three would-be environmental enforcers wound up unconscious on my floor, story over, right? Not even close. That was just the opening act. I'm Jasper Ravencraftoff, 41, repairman for old clocks, and solo parent to Phoenix, my 17-year-old whose biggest crime is training in Krav Maga since he could tie his own shoes. Ever since Helena, my wife, passed away from cancer, it's just been the two of us, fixing clocks and trying to keep our little wooden cabin in Green Valley out of trouble. We used to live in the kind of place where neighbors actually knew your dog's name, not your carbon footprint. That was before Oilia Blackthorn took over as HOA president and turned saving the planet into her own private crusade. Look, I'm all for solar panels and compost bins, but Oilia's rules started out reasonable, then went full-on eco-dictator measuring everyone's firewood, ticketing for leaving a window cracked open, turning Green Valley into some kind of zero-carbon boot camp. But the real insanity started one Tuesday in September. Phoenix burst into my workshop waving an official-looking document. "Dad, you gotta see this." It's an environmental violation notice, dripping with legalese and dramatic signatures. She's accusing our 40-year-old cabin of single-handedly melting the polar ice caps because of our wood stove. She's demanding we replace our heating system with approved solar alternatives and retrofit our place to meet standards that didn't exist last week. Price tag? $47,000. I'm not sure whether to laugh or faint. Phoenix, who's got a mean right hook and no patience for nonsense, is pacing around like a caged tiger, ready to storm the HOA office. She can't just make up rules, right, Dad? Thing is, I'm pretty sure she can't, so I start digging into property records, and wouldn't you know, our cabin was grandfathered in before the HOA was even a thing. Exempt from all this retroactive eco-madness. Oilia either doesn't know, or, more likely, hopes I don't. But she's not really interested in what's legal. She's on a mission, and she's got backup. Turns out her brother is the head of the city's planning committee. She's got access, and she's not shy about using it. Things start getting real weird when I catch her in our yard at dawn, clipboard in hand, counting firewood and scribbling calculations like she's plotting NASA's next launch. She's got the kind of smile that says, "I'm about to ruin your week." And sure enough, next thing I know, she's got three guys in dark suits pointing laser gadgets at my house. "Dad, those guys don't look like environmental inspectors," Phoenix says. He's right, they look like trouble. And Monday morning, bam, I find an emergency climate action order taped to our door, giving us 7 days to pack up and relocate or else. That's when Phoenix, God bless that kid and his curiosity, hacks into the HOA email system he learned from YouTube, because of course he did, and finds a trail of messages. Oilia has been coordinating with a private security company called eCompliance, planning these so-called environmental enforcement raids on problem homes. These guys are not real cops, but they're dressed like it, and the emails talk about asset inventories and psychological impact. It's all intimidation, force people to move, sell their house cheap, and make way for Oilia's green paradise. I dig deeper and realize our home's carbon footprint is already below average, thanks to all the upgrades Helena made before she died. Solar panels, geothermal heating, you name it. But facts don't matter in the age of social media. Oilia is out here starring in her own TikTok docu-series Eco Warrior Diaries, painting us as climate terrorists. Her videos rack up thousands of views, people calling me an eco-criminal and demanding justice. It's a circus. Sunday, three guys show up in environmental security uniforms demanding to inspect our home. No credentials, no gear for real tests, just attitude and tactical vests. That night, Mrs. Chun from next door shows up shaking like a leaf. tells me the Rodriguez family got the same audit 6 months ago, got hit with fake violations, and ended up leaving town overnight. It's a pattern, she whispers. She's right. Midweek, it all boils over. 3 muscle-bound enforcers arrive, this time not even bothering with the Clipboard Act. You're up for a carbon compliance check now. They flash badges that look like they came from a Halloween store, and when I ask for paperwork, they get hostile. But I'm ready, phone in my pocket, recording the whole thing. Phoenix, meanwhile, is up in his room snapping zoomed-in photos of their license plates. A little internet sleuthing later, we connect their SUV to a shell company registered to Oilia's family. And there are online complaints from other communities: intimidation, theft, property seized, and never returned. I call the real cops. Detective Santos listens to the recording, sees the photos, but warns me proving impersonation is tricky unless they say, flat out, we're police. The badges just say Environmental Protection Authority, fancy, but meaningless. I'm frustrated, but not surprised. Things get dark. Mrs. Shin tells me stories of families harassed, valuables seized for testing, and never returned. And the more I listen, the more I see. This is organized crime, plain and simple, hiding behind green buzzwords and HOA bylaws. Then the night of the break-in, Phoenix wakes me, whispers, "Dad, someone's cutting through the fence." I see 3 shadows, tactical gear, moving like they're in a bad action movie. At 3 a.m. sharp, they crash through our door, shouting about environmental emergency enforcement. But what they didn't expect was a teenager trained for this very moment. Phoenix drops the first guy with a textbook hammer fist, sprawls out of tackle, then guillotines the leader unconscious in seconds. The second guy tries to flank, but my son goes full Krav Maga double-leg takedown mount, and the guy's begging to give up. The third one, panicked, tries to run, but gets dropped by a Superman punch and a standing rear naked choke. 90 seconds, 3 grown men down, my boy barely breaking a sweat. We call the cops. When they show up, Oily is right behind them, shrieking in her pajamas, accusing us of assaulting her environmental team. But the cops aren't buying it. They find fake warrants, surveillance maps, and evidence these inspections were just covers for robbery. And the kicker chat logs on their phones outlining Operation Green Cleanse, a months-long harassment campaign targeting specific families with systematic pressure until they gave up and moved out. It all unravels. Turns out, Oilia's brother was leaking municipal records, property layouts, financials, even utility bills to help pick targets. The fake security firm was just a front for organized theft. And then we hear from Sarah Martinez, another victim, who helps federal agents connect the dots. This operation wasn't just about ideology, it was about money. Confiscated hazardous property was sold online, profits funneled back into expanding their racket. The feds get involved. Our case, thanks to Phoenix's heroics and my recordings, blows open a multi-state investigation. Courtroom packed, media everywhere. Phoenix testifies, shows exactly how he defended our home, even gives a demo with a training dummy. Judge's jaw drops, crowd breaks into applause, and Oilia finally cracks under cross-examination, admitting everything, all her grief, her twisted mission, and the whole criminal scheme behind it. The court comes down hard. Oilia and her crew face RICO charges, conspiracy, impersonation, racketeering, the works. Her brother is arrested, the fake security company gets shut down, and for the first time in months, Green Valley feels like a real community again. You think that's the end? Nah. For months later, we ditch the old HOA and start a mutual aid collective, neighbors actually helping neighbors, not spying on each other. Phoenix gets a scholarship to teach self-defense, start classes for seniors, even misses. Chun learns how to escape a wrist grab. Our cabin becomes a model for real, sustainable living, not the authoritarian nonsense we survived. The best part? People finally start talking, sharing, healing. The horror story that started with a 3 a.m. break-in turns into proof that standing up together can beat even the scariest villains, environmental or otherwise. But let me leave you with this. Was Oilia a monster or just a broken parent who lost her way? Is protecting the planet ever an excuse for terrorizing families? Drop a comment. Share your thoughts. What's the line between justice and obsession? And if you ever get a midnight visit from the eco police, remember always check their badges and keep your phone recording. If you made it this far, hit subscribe before someone tries to cite you for emotional damage.